when he first moved to Manchester City, Pep sort of suggested that couldn't see him as a sort of second striker role. But we're sort of seeing a slight different evolution, would we say, of his position?
Yeah. He's evolving as a player, without a doubt, yeah.
What's his best attributes?
Well, first and foremost, I think you have to give a background to his mentality. Because in football, we talk a lot about players should get breaks and rest and everything, that goes along with it. When he signed in 22, in January, he stayed at River Plate. He was loaned back by Man City till July. He played all international matches all that summer for River Plate and then turned up in July after he played his last game for River Plate on the 7th of July and he was playing in the Community Shield on the 30th. He played all summer. He didn't get any time off. If he had any time off, it was a week and that was it. Because he didn't leave River Plate that day and that was it done. He left but got to City and then would have gone back to training pretty quickly. He's had no time off. If you look at Alvarez, and he's had World Cup after that, and he's had no time off for 18 months. So this argument of players need more time off and rest, and I get it, recuperate. This lad's had none. Now he's a young lad with incredible energy, but his mentality is exceptional. He hasn't everything that's been put in front of him. He hasn't thrown his toys out the pram in any shape or form. If he's been left out, he's become a winner, a multiple winner in many different ways as a player at a very tender age of 23.
Yeah.
And I think his attitude is just... Pep probably loves him as a player, thinks, what a great pro to have. A young man I can trust, I can play him, and when I need him, I can ask him to do certain jobs. And that is what he's done at City. He's been reliable when called upon. The final year of his time before... if you take the 22-23 season, he got 40 goals that season. OK, with River Plate and with Argentina, but also with Man City. He's got a hell of a lot of goals. And he played, I think he got 6 in one game, didn't he, for River Plate before he got to City. I think he's showed incredible mindset and his talent is the goal in midweek. It's all about his pace and his hunger to get behind. Erling Haaland sees the pass, threads him in, and then his technical ability to finish it off. Quick 1-2 with his feet. Great finish.
And that's what we're seeing, this sort of link up with Haaland now.
Yeah.
Because he is playing behind him, as Pep Guardiola said. Is he trying to sort of put him in a Kevin De Bruyne type role because they are missing him and his influence?
Well, I would add to that I think where Guardiola has been really smart, he knows that other clubs are thinking about don't let Erling Haaland get behind you because once he gets away and he's more likely to score. So sometimes there's times when Erling Haaland drops a little bit shorter and Alvarez runs behind. And now he confuses defenders. And he's done that quite a lot. And I think that's given sort of Man City another string to their bow, if you like. And I think that's been very effective. So I give credit to all round, really, because you can also credit Erling Haaland for doing the unselfish act of now giving assists to Alvarez.
Well, with Alvarez, he's scored 4 goals this season and has also had 4 assists. Those assists coming in the Premier League, but as I mentioned, 2 in the Champions League and 2 in the Premier League as well. And is he a player you look at and just think, wow, he's just going to get better?
Well, I first of all, I just see an incredible attitude to the game from him. He's won so much. Is it a coincidence that he's won so much? And let's remember, he wasn't in the Argentina first 11. When they won the World Cup, he wasn't in the starting lineup. Martinez at Inter Milan was there. He found his way into the team, and he's sort of finding his way. And yes, De Bruyne's got injured, and he's found a place. But I do think the reason why is because he's got such a great attitude, and also with his ability and his eye for a goal, that a manager looks at him and thinks, oh.
So what happens when De Bruyne comes back?
Well, he might, for the first time in his career, have to fight for his place. It sounds ridiculous because De Bruyne is a one-off in himself. But he's a 23-year-old with a lot to give. And if he gets better, they've already got a replacement that plays slightly different from De Bruyne, but is also having a massive effect on the team. I think, like De Bruyne had an effect for many different reasons. His first-time pass was extraordinary, De Bruyne, that got goals for City all the time. Now, his asset is slightly different, but if he has to run behind Haaland and defences are thinking about Haaland and not allowing him to get behind, and he creeps into positions and he's a good finisher, That's another asset that Guardiola's got. And he's 23, he's got loads of time on his side. So I think he'll play more and more football over the next 2 or 3 years. With what he's got mindset-wise, I think there's a hell of a player there, yeah, of course.
Yeah. I suppose when you just quickly go back to that Red Star Belgrade game, it was a bit of a frustrating night for Erling Haaland. Yeah. But when you know that if he's not having a good night, Alvarez is going to pop up and score too.
Well, that's what City have sort of done.
Well,
in course, around. If it wasn't Bernardo Silva, it would be Mahrez, and if it wasn't Grealish, it would be Sane, and if it wasn't Salah, it'd be Sterling. They've always had these array of talent that someone can step in. Yeah. Alvarez is just another one with something slightly different to the rest.
But also slightly ominous because he is only 23, like you say. Yeah. Erling Haaland obviously is young.
Only just 23 as well.
Yeah, so slightly ominous if they're going to be sticking around for
I think he
while.
was, what was he, 17 million net, something like that?
Yeah, it wasn't a massive amount of money that they spent on him, certainly.
Yeah, someone would bid huge money for him.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.